guys, welcome! I'm trying to dress up for you and for Michael Butterfield, but I couldn't wear the gloves and also operate the phone. So, welcome. Thanks so much for coming. We're going to be talking to Michael Butterfield about our friendship, his style inspiration, our love of handbags, and we'll both be sharing some of our favorites. So, tune in, ask questions. Let me know if you have any. Oh, here he is. Let's get him in here. Hello. Hey, I'm like, this is like one of my favorite looks when I was 16 maybe and watched a lot of Audrey Hepburn. And this is the time.
Hi, darling.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm like, look, I can't wear the gloves and operate the phone. They didn't think about that.
I mean, listen, fashion over function. Let's get a glove before the phone.
And the ring's on also.
Oh my God, you're going full on out.
Right?
We have to. Wait, are you wearing
You remember this?
Of course. Wait, we're twins today. I just realized.
Oh, yes. This is like a look, dude. Happy hour.
Happy hour. Cheers.
Explain. Okay, also, I got a preview of this outfit, but it is lit. What are you wearing today? Welcome.
Okay, so, we'll start from head to toe. So, obviously, the first, I had to represent Miss Megan.
Thank you very much. This is what we talked about, one of the custom pieces I did for you in January, I think, when you came up with, you wanted this heavy chain look.
Absolutely, because I've been really inspired about, guys with pearl necklaces, and I was watching a lot of Thierry Mugler shows, and there was one show I was watching, and it was like, they had pearls all the way up to here, and I was like, that's so cool. And you pulled out this ball chain, and I was just like,
we can make that work, yeah.
We can make this work. And I think it just looks cooler. It's a lot more, I guess, to my aesthetic, just like a little bit more like grungier, edgier. So I love it. So that's that. Then I have this really cool jacket. It's from Calvin Klein. Before they closed the 205 West 38th Street.
Totally.
And I know I'm so sad about it, but it's like inspired by like a cop's jacket. So it's like, it has like the New York flag on the buttons, which is like really cool.
Yeah. I love all the hardware, all the hardware aspects within this. It's gorgeous. The material, what is the material of this that you're wearing?
It's denim.
It's denim. It's white denim. Okay. So
white denim. I know I'm sweating, but it's fine. I sweat for fashion.
But gorgeous, yeah. You look amazing.
I know, but then the pièce de résistance. Let me see if I can get up.
I know, sorry.
Are these fabulous pants?
Yes. Oh, pant game strong as usual.
And I actually got these from ASOS.
Oh, very high-low. Very nice.
Very high-low.
Good mix.
Well, everything I'm wearing I got on sale or is an amazing jewelry piece. So, you know me. You know how to get it. We talked earlier because we both love handbags, and like one of your sites that you kind of scope out is the Real. And I love you have like strategy behind that, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if the Real now is like a huge source. I remember, I think it started like about maybe 10 years ago, and it was like this startup business run by one woman. And it's now like I think it's like almost close to a $90 million business.
It's huge.
Maybe more.
Yeah, it's about research. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Exactly.
You could see how that's such a huge market now.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now, a lot of people are being very conservative in terms of like buying new, and they're going more for conscious buying and purchasing things that are maybe have been loved lightly. Or are vintage, love lightly.
I love that. Perfect, yeah.
Or vintage, or...
Because handbags are like that, though, if you invest in them, right?
Absolutely.
This is kind of what we talk about. So you introduced me to a lot of handbags. I never bought, really... I love accessories, but I never had bought myself anything really luxurious. And you had gotten me my first Bow.
Yeah.
Which I have right here. Can I tell you, this poor little Bow has been through so much.
It's been through the ringer.
I've had it rebuilt. Rebuilt.
Did you really?
Oh yes, I've had a whole spot. Like, I'm like, these gloves are very difficult. I might have to take them off. I'm like,
you're fine.
It's
aesthetic. You already showed them, so now you can.
This is the first one you ever bought me. The black, like super classic. You can see how beat up it is.
But it almost looks like a design, though.
I know.
And you're like, that's what I'm taking it off as.
Did we talk about the little trick you can do where you can like use alcohol wipes to take off all the scratches?
No, because I need that for mine.
Yeah, you just buy those the alcohol pads are like 90% and they come in those little individual ones. The ones I use for earrings, because I always want to clean my ears before I put my earrings in. I'll use that on my ears. You can do the same here. A jewelry store in Portland, Oregon called Twist, which I highly recommend everyone check out because they have amazing fine jewelry. Different from what I do, but I lust after their collection. They carry Bow Bow. Like one of the only places I want to say, like in Portland, Oregon, right? And they gave me
except for like maybe like the majors, but other than that, no.
Yeah, they're more of like specialty boutique, a high specialty fine jewelry boutique. So, but they do accessories. So they'll have this, and they always have alcohol pads because of jewelry, and they're the ones that made that connection. I told the Please girls in Soho, and they were like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This is amazing.
This changes everything."
It's huge.
The story behind that bag was
well loved.
You made it's definitely well loved, and I love that you wear it and you represent it, and you've worn it, and there's some love on there. But the story, guys, is that Megan made an amazing piece for me, which I think we showed
couple
times, and it's like a vertebrae piece. And at the time I was working at Saks, so I recently got a bag similar to that one, and I'll show it in a minute. And
I fell in love.
I was just like, I know she's gonna love it, and she was already on the brand, so I was like, well, as payment, why don't I get you this bag? Because it'll be around what I would pay for it for. So I was like, let me just get this amazing bag for her, and she'll love it, and she'll wear it, and it'll go just as far as money, if not further, right?
Even more beloved because of that story too. It was awesome, and the fact that you wear your piece so much too. We showed how you did all this great styling. You got to tune in, you guys. There's a lot of pieces, but you do this great styling where you flip things around and think about wearing them. I had designed it to be like a really symmetrical harness, and you had flipped it and done 3/4 asymmetrical front waist. Amazing.
Right. Thank you. No, I love it. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It's like we get to play around with it and have fun with it, and it's not just worn one way. I think that's the beauty of jewelry, is that you can wear it a whole bunch of different ways, as well as handbags, as well as
you do that
clothing.
With this one too, right?
Yeah. So I usually do it all the way up as like a high choker. Sorry, the lighting is probably shite right now, but I do it as a high choker. But I've worn it as like longer. I've worn it with a bunch of high and then some low, or I've done it just like maybe like 1 or 2 loops, and it's very long. Just depending on how I feel. Yeah. Just depending on how I feel, or the outfit.
I want to say it's like you have to hold it like this, and it almost goes to the floor. It's that long kind of.
Oh, absolutely! There's a train if I do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's massive.
Yeah, and so to wear it doubled is going to be a huge statement. Still, like your whole torso. So that's cool. I like that. I like to think of that. Okay.
Absolutely. But
I like chains, dripping in chains a lot personally.
Oh, same. It's just such a cool aesthetic. But speaking of,
ooh,
so this is what it started it all.
Oh yes, that's my favorite. Yours, how do you keep it so nice? You're nice to your things. I'm so sad to my things. I think I carry like rituals inside there.
You put love into it.
Beside it. That's what happens. Yeah, yours looks great.
I mean, if you came closer, there's some markings and things like that, but like
get a little alcohol wipe on there and you're good.
I know. I'm gonna do that now that we have all these Clorox wipes. Or a little alcohol.
Right. Yeah. Everyone is on top of all these cleanliness things.
Exactly. Right? I'll like wipe my hands or wipe whatever, and then I'll just do a little quick little,
But yours is like extra big, and I feel like you carry a big tote really well.
Thank you. I can't really carry like really tiny, teeny, tiny bags.
Yes,
That's
you
like
can. You're good at that
I can,
too.
but like for proportion purposes. but it's basically like, it comes up to about, I want to say like here. So it comes like at the end of my knee. But what I love about it is that I can like fold it.
Yeah.
You can fold it a bunch of different ways. You can.
You know, because like this, tell me more about, like, this is based on origami. Because you guys,
Exactly.
it folds like it's made with this really cool design. This is really inspirational for me because I think about this in my own work a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I think about this a lot and how things fold and fit on the body, and this does this.
And it's also like
more about the inspiration behind this.
A lot of it was inspired by origami. And it can, because it can fold, you can wrap it up. It's almost like a Longchamp pliage, where you can fold it up easily, and it's just very lightweight.
I love that. Forgot the Longchamp pliage. I had a moment with those as well. That was my 20s.
No, I love them. They're such good bags. They're really good travel bags. Just like these, you can just like fold it up and put it in your luggage and your carry-on. It can be your carry-on. It takes up a lot of room.
Yeah.
Or it can take a lot of stuff in it, rather.
It's one of the bags. The moment you gave it to me and I started wearing it, people would stop me constantly on the street, and it's it's black. It's not like flashy or anything crazy. It's patent leather, but it has the design of it is so elegant and thoughtful.
And it's also so lightweight and easy. So it's like really good for people, especially that live in the city, or that people who need to run a lot of errands. That's what definitely attracted me to it. But I also love the Semiyaki, so it's a different story.
You also, because that was another thing. You love pleats, please.
Yes.
You have like
I have pants. I have scarves. I have the whole nine.
Mm-hmm. It's a good look.
Just classic items. But I think what I love about that bag, and you know, it's like kind of interesting, is that, you know, your work has a lot of like geometric shapes, and you utilize a lot of different kinds of shapes, and it's like obviously like you can see there's squares in it, but they're made of triangles. They're made of
right here. I just realized like the connection. This is such a connection to that to me. Like this is the negative space of the bag in a way.
But that's why it's so attractive to us, is because like, you know, we have a love for geometric shapes and things that are, you know, small little details that make up one big picture. So like, yeah, and it's like a bunch of squares, but like depending on how you look at it, it could be a trapezoid, it could be, you know, a bunch of triangles. It depends on how you play with it.
How it drapes too, right?
Exactly.
I love that has that same thing. I forgot you could fold it up, because I will fold it up and put it in like as an extra bag. This is why it's destroyed. I know me. And this is why I designed the way I design. I'm an active person, and I'm making stuff like that, obviously. And
you're obviously not the only one, because I mean, there's people that love your jewelry because it's so just easy, and you can play with it, and you can travel with it, put it in your bag, and all of that.
Yeah, I totally just had like a really nice. I've been doing like virtual little trunk shows with my clients, which has been really so special to connect with them and learn more about their lives. And like this is the moment to do that when we're all slowed down, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be entrepreneurial at this time. I think that's the only way that everyone's going to survive. Is you have to be entrepreneurial. You have to think outside the box, and you have to use your sources that you already have and even find additional sources. So it's, you know, I think it's best to be as, you know, thought-provoking as possible when it comes to using people knowing people that you know.
Yeah, and I realize like all this is, we're so far physically away from people, but I'm trying to connect even more socially in a virtual way. Replicate the in-person, and I'm having even more thoughtful and in-depth conversations with people than I had before. So it's some weird, interesting trade-off, or this is a byproduct. I did not anticipate this to have these experiences. It's cool.
But I think because I know, especially like at you know, because you show a lot of different trade shows and different jewelry expos and things of that nature. I feel like because there's so many people coming to you all at once, you are getting a little bit of that intimate sort of setting with them. But I feel like the more you have this sort of one-on-one, like a Zoom meeting or a FaceTime or things like that, you're getting this very intimate time, and you can spend as much time with them as possible, and so show as much of your work as possible. and there's no any additional interruptions unless, of course, you know, you have another meeting to go to. But
yeah,
that's the beauty of this technology.
Totally. And then my other thing I was noticing is like seeing people where they actually live or work from and their environment. I was watching another IG live with some consultants who do jewelry who are lovely. And they're talking about how people they're enjoying watching like what paintings, how do they decorate their house? Like how's this? Like what's behind them? What's going on over here? All of this. People kind of it's kind of like reality TV, right? You're getting way more personal faster than you were before. Yeah, that's cool.
And you can find things even in the background to bond on, unless, of course, like, you know, they have a white wall.
Well, I designed my wall for you guys because I can't help myself. I want to put displays up everywhere I go.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's also how you stay inspired. You have your pieces around you. You can say, okay, I see this piece up here. I see this piece over here. Maybe I can combine it in some sort of way, or maybe I can, you know, figure something out.
Oh, I want to live with it too. I want to live with my art and my work and be surrounded. I don't want it in a box. I want it surrounding me. That's what I think about. Yeah. Wait, show me some more purses. Okay. Basically, you set me off on this whole thing where I got obsessed with purses, and I have a whole collection, and then I started making purses.
Yes.
So you have set me on this whole handbag love obsession.
Just a little bit of
jewelry. They are a personal thing. I didn't realize. Really? Like jewelry is so personal, right?
Absolutely. And what I love about, you know, sort of my love for the two is that there's so many similarities with both together. When you compare them, you know, the hardware on handbags almost looks like a piece of jewelry, or it can be, and even like, for example, you know, Louis Vuitton did a collection with some high profile artists and other designers, and one of them was Frank Gehry. And it was like this sort of like cool architecturally, it was like a shifted bag, and like it had like, and I've seen pieces of jewelry with that same sort of shift and, you know, things like that. Exactly. Is that Whiting and Davis?
This, not Wendy. This is people in California I became friends with. It's handmade.
Oh, fantastic.
But backed in, it feels like jewelry to me. That's what you said that, and I was like, yes, this is metal mesh with velvet inside. You feel the mesh. I mean, even the chain is like a jewelry chain.
Yeah.
This is it's gorgeous, right? This is jewelry.
I mean, there's always like sort of like highs in between the two. Like sometimes like, especially like designers like Jacquemus who do, you know, the teeny tiny itty bitty bags, but the strap that you hold it on can be repurposed as a bracelet. It can be repurposed as a necklace, or, you know, something like that.
Oh, we were talking, you saw me doing this, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, okay, so I brought this. These are kind of, I feel like they're still not there yet, but we're getting there, you know?
Yeah.
In my new home studio, I've been doing, this is where it starts. These little bags.
Oh, wow.
Start like this. It's simple little ball chain, like the 1 millimeter version of what you're wearing, like miniaturized version, right? I use it like thread or fabric. Look how soft it is. I use super simple crochet hooks, nothing fancy. Hi, Larry. And it's like, this is it. I just go from feeling, I make up the patterns as I go. I'm like, I want a conical shape, a square shape. So this one, for example, I did.
Oh my God.
It's like a little tube, right?
Now, how long does that sort of process take you to do, where you're able to crochet the metal? Is it like a multi-day? It's like a multi-day project.
No.
A little bit longer.
A little bit less.
A little bit.
I'm fast. I've been doing this. That would take
me like 3 years to make.
20 years of crochet practice. Do you know? So for me, I did a collection for free people. Do you remember? Like a million.
Yeah.
So this is like one of the things I did also. This is knit actually with bronze, a little bit larger version, and then little pearls on it. This one I did for Portia, like similar to what Portia wore on Real Housewives.
Yeah.
I did these like bracelet versions of this with hand jewelry.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What are those called again? I can't remember. Hand jewelry?
Like a hand charm, like a hand.
It was like you wore it. It like became rings around.
Like
here.
a multi-ring. Yeah,
And I had it connect with chain to here to a crochet piece. And I whipped out. I think I did like 30 to 50 of those.
Oh wow!
In a week, because we had turnaround like this, you know.
Yeah.
But that's because I can crochet. But I did all the crochet.
Of course.
My assistants did all the connections because I'll jump rings and this. But I was like, boom, 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 like a little machine. But this is why I practiced a lot.
Got it.
But then developing the patterns is a whole other thing. That took me like, to get good to make the pattern just out of my head, took me 20 years.
But it's like, I mean, this is like 20 years in the making, but you can make it in such a short period of time just with all of your hard work and your practice and all of that. But if somebody saw that on the street, they'd be like, that is like a $700 bag,
days,
if not more.
Yeah, because this part was this took me a week to figure out the right way to drill all of the steel and do the rivets correctly. And then the actual chain is much denser and heavy, and that you can, while I'm doing it, because it's not fabric, I'll start snapping the chain. I have to reconnect. Keep going back.
Oh my God.
It's a love.
Absolutely.
I have deep love for this, to do this. Obviously, this is a passion. I started doing this. I was thinking about you. You had the cutest. You had turned a children's purse into a necklace.
Oh, the little bag. So it's actually a little card case that so when I worked at Burberry, they had a card case that was repurposed as a little crossbody. So it had this little Cuban link chain. And you can see it on my Instagram. I have a picture of it around my neck. So I would wear it around my neck. It's like, it was like an 18-inch, like 20-inch, super cute on him. Filled in perfectly right here. Not the perfect size on you. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's... But see, like, that's the perfect example of, like, jewelry and handbags coming together and becoming, like, this sort of cool union of, like, this interesting, like, almost like conversation piece. And this way, I credit you with this, but then Jacques Ma really sold it for me with his new. Oh, yeah. He is so cute. I can't get over it. But the mini bags are like, they blow my mind. They're so cute. Absolutely. And they're almost like collector's items because you can't put anything in it except a stick of gum. Okay, it's like having a whole constructed bag like this, but but he's like, you can repurpose it as a bracelet or like a necklace. So it's not like you have to wear it as a bag. You can wear it as a piece of jewelry. So like, I love that. That's a good point. You're right. I didn't know that he had done that with the bracelet thing because I was thinking with some of the things I was doing. Let's see if I can find them all. I did these really. I did a bunch of stuff, obviously, because I love jewelry, right? Yeah, I mean, this is the best time to make one thing. I make 10 things at once. Always working on 5 things at once. But I improved on some of these things we talked about. Yeah, I made one little handbag the whole time between Christmas to New Year's at the start of the year. And this is where it kind of like, I was thinking about you, I was thinking about the Jacques Ma. I want one. I'm not buying it, but I want one. Like, or like Paco Rabanne, or you know. Yeah. Oh, Paco Rabanne is a whole other thing. I mean, that's a whole other. We can have a whole other conversation just about that. I got palpitations. Like Paco Rabanne for years. It's not like one time. It's years. 1972. Yes. To have the longevity and be so on top of it for so long is, I think, really admirable as a designer. They're still making that bag. Pardon me? They're still making the bag. They're still making the bag with all of the chainmail and like the rivets all put together and properly sort of like pronged together and all of that. That's it. The hardware, it's exceptional. And that sets it apart. You can feel that, you can see it even in a picture that it feels good. there's a weight to it. There's a quality to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but you're offering it in a different way that I haven't seen, in like a crochet option.
Yeah, this is different, a little bit more like hippie California meets 1990s grunge, but I love hardware, so I incorporated all these steel chains and I literally incorporated this into the crochet. This is part of the piece now, which I thought was...
So is it like, did you fold it and sort of like crochet it that way, or is that just how it sits?
Into the loops with with my crochet hook. I crocheted, it's like it became part of the fabric of the piece. There's no, it's seamless. I think that's just beautiful.
Sick.
Stuff like that excites me because this is all one piece of chain, all crocheted in the round together and da-da-da-da-da-da. Ooh, New York's oh, I love you, Larry. Beautiful. And that's exactly how
you can repurpose something like a strap or a chain or something like that and repurpose it as jewelry or repurpose it as a handle.
No, but this is my girl. Dude, it's lonely being stale. This is my girlfriend. I dress her. I literally put new outfits on her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Put like a little wrap on her. I thought she was cold. I need a friend.
You're talking to your mannequin telling you and it's saying it's cold?
Wow, I gotta tell you.
We may need to talk a little bit more.
It's a problem. This is why I do IG Lives. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Happy to be here.
How I socialize. But, you know, you have to like make do, but I get to style her, dress her, and that's fun.
Right. Yeah.
I can't wear all my clothes, so
I mean, this is the only time I dress up. I'm literally in sweatpants and a hoodie like every day. So like I get so excited. Like Thursdays, I'm like, let me get all dolled up and put something on, put some sequins on, you know, call it a day.
Sequins is the best. The sequins pants, though, it's like we went to yes. Thank you. You need to do, what is that, Victoria Beckerman?
The Victoria Beckham.
There we go.
The leg. I do it sometimes. It's not comfortable, so I don't know how she does it.
She's this big.
That too. I mean, like, I eat things bigger than her for breakfast.
She also, I feel like she is actually a dancer.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Oh, definitely. I think she did ballet, if I'm not mistaken, when she was younger.
Yeah, she seems like she would have to be athletic to be with her husband to a certain extent.
Yeah. And her kids too. They all like play soccer around the, you know, like 50-acre estate or whatever.
Yeah. Go there.
Nice.
She's brilliant. She's
absolutely
brilliant business person. Well, I did this one too. I was thinking about it. This is just a smaller scale. This is not as heavy as the other. This one was. This is the big one is. I can show you the comparison.
Yeah.
This is way different. Yeah. This is 4 millimeter. So for me, I might end up wearing something more like this, just because it is a little bit more wearable on my neck. The other one is more statement, though.
Yeah. But it's a weight to it. So I mean, even utilizing that as like
Yeah.
Utilizing that as a necklace, even making it like the strap for the bags or anything like that. I also love like on the sort of circle handle.
Oh yeah, on this.
I love that sort of handle. I haven't seen that sort of handle since like the early 2000s.
Remember those boho bags? Everybody had that.
And it had the massive.
What was
yes.
That?
But you know what it reminds me of? You remember? Have you seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when she's at the top of the building and she hooks one part of the bag and then jumps down, and it's the same sort of circle handle. So when you first showed it to me, that's instantly what I thought of.
Obviously, it was spy. Everybody. FYI, you just tuned in. The cover's broken. But you're serious? I totally know what you're talking about. Because I was thinking about this handbag as having that look, and then I was thinking of this handbag as having that look when you were. This is like 1996 California. You wore this side.
Yeah.
And you had your lipstick and your CoverGirl compact. That blue or green one that everybody had. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a slouchy hippie bag, but This I thought was a little bit more elegant, hopefully.
I love it. No, it absolutely is.
Handbag in '96. That was
because now you need to fit in like, you know, all your Fenty Beauty, you know, the 40 different shades of of foundation. So you need a little bit of a bigger
She's amazing. Also, to talk about it. Just bring Fenty. Yes, agree. Yes.
Yes. So instead of CoverGirl, you know, you have a couple more options.
Yeah, a little bit more, just a touch.
Just a touch.
Apparently, that True makeup though, is it CoverGirl or L'Oreal? Is supposed to be really good for multiple skin tones.
Oh, really?
It's like it color matches too. Like more people of color are really drawn to it because it's actually works.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good for many ranges of skin tones for like a drugstore brand, which is
and it's a lot more of like an approachable price point. Yeah.
Mainstream.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because everybody is there's lots of skin tones. Hello.
And there's, you know, they'll probably even filter even that further because there's, you know, the different types, there's different
and more
subgroups.
People are mixing it up even more, so we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
I like it. So
but speaking of hardware, I have this piece. Two of the pieces that I grabbed I actually got on the site we were talking about before.
Amazing collection. So you have some of your favorites with us today?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But they all have to go under, like, I would say hardware, or I mean, except for the Baobab, of course, because that's like almost hardware-less.
It is, but you know, this is.
But the geometrics remind me a lot of your work, and like, you know, we have a shared love for that bag. Yeah.
That is something that is hardware. That's really.
Oh, absolutely. You know? But it's so funny because that's like the only visible piece of hardware that you'll see on that bag.
True.
Everything else is on the inside.
True. You're right.
It's very well done. But I do love that sort of like you can repurpose it as like a shoulder bag or like a handle bag.
Or a little, it has multiple, I love just these little, having the ability to customize.
Absolutely.
Based on what you're wearing. Sometimes you want it this, depends on how bulky, you know.
Yeah. If you have a lot on and you just want to hold it over your shoulder and it's a little heavy, I get it. But speaking of hardware, I have this. So it's a little tough to see.
Oh, but
but it's like
beautiful hardware.
Yeah, this really hard sort of like
material of the actual bag too, because it's so structured.
So these pieces are it's like a hard metal. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly which one it is. And then it's covered in some sort of
probably like powder coated, like matte powder coated.
Yeah, it's matte powder coated. Because there is like, I mean, because it's a bag from like I think 2011, 12 maybe.
Okay.
There are, I mean, like there is showing like the coating like slightly coming off. So there must be some sort of coating or some sort of like, it's just based on, you know, how it was loved or used. But I actually got this piece on the Real. So it's Alexander Wang, and it has like this like sort of like hard metal pieces here, almost to like give it that sort of like structured feel, but the rest is very slouchy. So the top part here is it's like all suede, and then a leather middle, and then of course the middle of the bag is like a stingray.
I'm like, there's like amazing texture. The stingray is awesome. It's like the evil eye, or like there's something very.
It's just
happening there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's on both sides, so but it's almost like this dome. So you have the option of having it as a handle. You can actually repurpose this and make it into a wristlet. So you can actually pop this piece out and make it into like a true wristlet.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I also like I like a little mini to hold
I do too. So like I started getting into them maybe 3 years ago, because I love carrying massive bags, but like a mini one, I can just fit my wallet, my keys, and my phone, just call it a day. That's why I even loved that necklace I used to have.
That handbag, actually?
The Burberry? Yeah, I would actually put in my ID, my Metro card, and I would use it on a daily basis. I put my ID, my Metro card, my credit cards, all of that, and it would just fit perfectly in that little, and I'd wear it as a necklace. It was really cute.
So good and functional.
But I decided to give it to somebody that would give it another home.
You're always you're very good about keeping your collection like true to like what you're actually wearing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I love about, so I got that piece on the Real Real, and what I love about the Real Real is that you can find pieces that maybe you wanted 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even longer, and it's a decent price. And you know, like I found this piece, I wanted this piece when I was in college, and I was like, I would love this piece. It was I think it was like $1,000 because it has like
the
I got it
stingray.
for the Stingray, exactly. The Stingray is like perfect. It's still perfect. Everything is like
forever, apparently.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
it's like a perfect skin. I mean, and it's a good size. I paid $100 for it, maybe less.
Oh, I love that. You always know the pieces that are like those iconic pieces from each collection too, and you're like following up on it. I really like you know what's going on. Like you're very knowledgeable about that too, which I really appreciate because it's really helpful. I'm like, oh yeah. Like
Yeah, you have like a obsessions page, and you watch it all there, and you monitor it. And what I love is that like you'll be like, I remember this brand. I haven't really looked at it in a long time. Remember we were having a conversation about we were talking about Bendel's and when we worked there together, and or you know when you used to show there, and they had a collection called Tom Binns, and Tom Binns is like this massive brand, but we don't hear about him.
No.
They have pages upon pages upon pages of all of his pieces. And I remember like selling them at Bendel's.
That was like the thing when I moved to New York, like right when I moved there, it was Tom Binns, like Erickson Beeman. Remember Erickson Beeman?
Yes.
Okay.
Danny Joe.
Lovely. Super amazing designers to me.
Yeah.
Still, Erickson Beeman's still around. Fenton Fallon.
Fenton Fallon, yes.
Bring that one back.
Oh, yeah. Right? Please.
She's funny. It's just like Eric or Eddie Bourgeot.
Eddie Bourgeot. They have his pieces too. But that's what I love about it is that like you can go to that place and you can say, I really remember like this Louis Vuitton bag from like 15 years ago, and I was like, it's this specific style, it's this specific, you know, from this collection. You can probably find it, and then you just watch it and you know, wait on it, pray on it. You get it for a good price, you know. So I'm very much about that now because it's also.
But you geek out like me like on the history of things, like the Paco Rabanne from 1972. I want pieces that are from that period because they're also made in a different way than they're probably made now.
Absolutely.
There's something in that's really awesome to see. I actually brought my new Bao Bao that I haven't used yet.
Oh my god, wait, yeah, you told me you have like 5 of them now. So let me see how this has grown since I started the collection.
So embarrassing, you guys. Well, I got
there was a point in time where she would show a different one all the time. Every time we'd hang out.
Okay, I would just be like, okay.
And I'd be like, oh!
Cool.
All right, let me see this one, love.
This is like my super simple one that Ricky inspired me to get.
Oh, Ricky.
This is my little, like, my one I use for the subway.
Yeah.
Cell phone, that's it. We'll try that.
That's a good one.
You know, I love red.
Yes. That's my power color. Ooh.
They did red with the actual red mesh in the back. So usually they have black mesh only with the red and red on red.
I want a red one now.
Yeah, but I just like.
I'm gonna go find it.
Well, you know, it's like.
Yeah.
I know what works with my outfits and I wear them to death. This one is the newest one I got.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this was like exclusive to Bloomies. You know. But it totally changed the pocket.
Oh, interesting.
Totally different feel, not a miniature fabric.
Yeah, it's almost like it looks more tactical. Yeah, I like that.
It's like tech material.
Because mine is like. Does
that work? Oh.
You good, love?
Oh yeah, sorry. I changed from. I was getting static feedback. Do you hear me?
Mm. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I was getting weird. Okay, go on and start. I guess they wanted to be more tactical or something.
Probably a little bit more durable with it. Because mine is like a nylon-y feel. It's just very one note.
Yeah.
Whereas that has a little bit more. I love that, but I love the red. Okay, I mean, I may need to look for that.
Matches fashion.
Get me in trouble. Yeah, match. Okay, I gotta check out matches.
Matches fashion, dude. It's like.
Oh my god.
Oh no, that's embarrassing. Okay, but that's kind of I geek out on them because of their they are so simple, but they're not. It has such a big statement, and I love that about those bags.
Absolutely.
I try to take that constantly in my own work. I feel like.
No, definitely. I mean, it's just so interesting how like even other parts of sort of like art representation, like handbags, clothes, jewelry, they kind of all tie together. So it's like if your interests are lying in a certain bag or a certain coat or a certain jacket, it's almost like it complements your jewelry in a way. And it's not even consciously thought. It's not consciously confirmed, you know?
Yeah, I think as a designer, it's like it's easy to geek out on things too because you understand that it took so long to get to the point to make that.
Absolutely.
It was not they just made it and it was good. And I could see them constantly also developing it with the new lining and the new hardware and this. And I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. That's why. But I also appreciate getting the things that are old, like the old Paco Rabanne, because they're made in a different way.
Absolutely. Maybe there was more handwork to it, or, you know, they used a different technique, or, you know, and that's the interesting, because it's like, I feel like as your brand, no matter if it's in clothing, if it's in handbags, if it's in jewelry, your craft gets stronger as the years go by. So
hopefully,
hopefully.
I mean, Loewe is doing.
If it doesn't, maybe it's time to call somebody else to help you out.
But for real, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big. I think that's one of the underlying, like having high craft, good materials, and like that attention to detail and fabrication is what sets brands apart, and it's something that's in the touch of the touch.
Absolutely.
And some brands will sacrifice it.
They'll sacrifice it for a quick buck, and then the quality is gone, and that's the problem. But like somebody like a Bottega Veneta or like a Loewe, they're known for, you know, they're really good leathers and their suedes. I remember a good friend of mine went to Hermes, and he was talking about like their competition, and they were saying that Hermes is trained to look at what Loewe is doing in terms of their leather, because their leather is almost comparable to Hermes.
Interesting.
So that was very interesting to know.
For me too, because I didn't know that, because Loewe is one of those. They have a craft prize every year. They do, and it's from all over. It's many craft forms that they'll highlight because they understand all is part of the whole craft culture and what brings them to have the good fabrication. But I feel like Hermes, to see that is interesting.
Yeah. He found that out recently when he went to visit a store, and he told me that sort of information. I thought that was interesting. Yes, it's very much tea.
Yeah. Thank you.
A little bit of fashion tea.
I love it. And I also love. What about Goyard? I mean, I like that too, because Goyard is one of those brands that's like heritage.
It's heritage, and kind of the same with fashion. It's the same with jewelry, rather. It's very much like you have a lot of handmade work. So all of Goyard's pieces are hand-painted. Every single one.
It is. I don't get it. I still don't get it.
I'm wondering who it is that's like doing these chevrons with the dots. It's like a.
I think it's still done in France too.
Yep. It's the only one. I feel like it's the only one, because Louis Vuitton does it in Spain and Italy and France. Which are all great. Which are all great. But
I love how all the Chinese have moved into Italy, though, and become citizens of Italy and have opened their own luxury factories.
Really?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, Italians had imported all of these Chinese workers who have high, like, good hand skills and like trained them in their Italian techniques. Like, Italy has a huge heritage, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every single brand.
Like, if you just say made in Italy, she's like, how good is the country of Italy at marketing? Like, okay. Europeans are so funny. Like, they have such opinions about all the other countries. But I had not seen that perspective as an American.
Yeah.
And they had trained all these made in Italy people, and they trained all these Chinese workers made in Italy, and then the Chinese workers started their own factories, became Italian citizens, and are now running their own luxury fabrication.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
It's kind of a funny, like, immigration story as well.
Yeah. I remember I was reading this book about, like the sort of like the ins and outs of luxury. I read it for school. And they were talking about outside of France, for Louis Vuitton specifically, and some other brands. Louis Vuitton has like their quality control area in France or wherever their factory is. The only other place that has it post retail is China.
Interesting.
So China has their own quality control area. So as soon as the bags arrive to all of the Chinese retail stores, they have somebody in quality control that goes, that's not going to be to the standards of our people. So you need to send that back. Or this is to the standards of, this is fine. This is a new one. We can put this out. This is fine.
No.
Yeah. So they're very much like, so that's why every single bag, if you go to, and I think it's also in Japan as well. If you go to China, Japan, or maybe some of the other neighboring countries, they have a quality control person that deals with all of retail. So they make sure that every single piece that you receive is up to the standards of what they see as top of the line quality, which is it's very interesting.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I wish they would have that everywhere, but
Yeah, but you pay for that luxury. I mean, I try to do that with our own. When I make pieces, I do that, but I'm so small. It's not the same scale. For them to be able to scale that in such a large way internationally is and to have the quality control, it's paramount. It's the integrity of their brand completely.
Absolutely, because you can one piece that is seen as maybe faltered, or there's some issue with it, or you're like one shoe is known for having all its straps come out. You can be done. You can be done.
Destroys everybody's confidence.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So interesting. Okay, before we go, we sped through this. Show me a couple more bags, because I know you're hiding some good ones.
I have one more.
Oh, okay. Go for
that
it.
It kind of ties into what we talked about in the previous one, where where I had a love for snakes, and this sort of like I was obsessed with that snake ring with the rubies, and then I was able to get one from Linban with it was silver with all of the little diamonds on the eyes.
But it's like two snakes entwined. It's like kind of matte. Oh, it's gorgeous.
I love that piece, and I love that piece. So it's kind of like full circle. So
yeah, your ring game.
Thank you. You honestly started it, because I think you were the first ones I got rings from.
This is what I'm gonna. So
I started your love for like those handbags, and you started my love for rings and jewelry and having multiples and all of that.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. Yes, it's a feedback. I love it totally.
Absolutely. So kind of tying in and with the rings and all of that, and then on top of that, just my love for Python, but I could never afford Python.
Well, yeah, it's spendy. Yeah,
it's very spendy, and I remember like, when I was younger, there was a Gucci ad that had like a woman with like a Python trench coat, and she had like slick black hair, and it was almost like 1920s Chicago-esque, and she had like really cool makeup, and it was just very well done. And that's kind of what gave me my love for Python. But obviously, like, everything I wanted was like $4,000, $6,000, and at 18 years old, you're like, no, I can't do that.
Not yet.
I can't do that. So I remember I was stalking on the RealReal, and there was a bag I saw from this brand called Parenza Schooler, who's a very well-known.
Well, I love them. Yes.
Yes, they're great. They're great American designers, and I think they recently showed in Paris for the first time. The second time,
they're New York based. They're from Parsons. Graduate.
Yes. Oh no, and they just showed. They're going to show. I think they just showed recently in New York. Maybe they skipped a year in Paris and then went back to New York. Something like that.
They didn't do their couture because they're doing this new like in between kind of Mansur Gavriel pricing. Midi couture, midi luxury. What is that?
So they do both. So it's like a contemporary sort of diffusion line. So they do. It's called Parental Schooler White Label.
White label.
So it's like PSWL. And okay, we get it. Parsons is great.
I mean, they definitely put out some great.
They put out some geniuses. I will say that. I will never take that away from them.
Respect, yes.
But no, they're fantastic. So they have a contemporary brand they just released last year, maybe 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then they have their names, their other brand, the Parental Schooler brand. So this piece is one of their older pieces, but I saw it on the Real for like a really great price, and I was like, I can't say no.
This is one of those things that you know this is a classic of them, and oh, it's beautiful.
So it's like the full thing.
Ooh.
Is Python.
So that it's like, it's based on one of those like old school like going to work briefcases or school briefcases.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has like this strap, but like the strap you can. I love a good strap that you can do multi uses with.
The hardware is good on that too. Yeah.
The hardware is great. So that's kind of why like I love a good very prominent hardware, and I love prominent hardware here, but it's just so clean. It's just like a easy. Very like old school briefcase.
It does, and this is like classic for them. So this is one of those pieces like you understand the idea of like investment pieces that are going to be part like an integrity of the brand identity that are going to hold true for like 35 years.
Absolutely, but it's like a piece that I was just like, I like this piece when it came out. This is an example, like maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Nobody's really looking for it. It's not like. What is Bottega doing now where they feel the need to jack up all of the prices, even for pieces that are maybe 20 years old, 30 years old, their heritage. So now because the brand is hot, but with Proenza, because they've sort of stayed tried and true to a lot of their pieces and they're offering new styles. This is a style that, was discontinued a couple of years back, and I got a decent price for it on the Real. I mean, I think I got it for less than $200. But besides the Python, which kind of ties back to my love for snakes, but also the hardware, I love this hardware because it's like that cool, just sort of that cool clasp.
Yeah.
And it's just a great closure. So, I mean, it's just interesting how like all of your pieces can kind of tie in together. Yeah, it's upscale, but it also ties into like, it matches directly back to, this ring. So it's just...
Okay, show us that ring again. That's one of your rings, because I love that. The other underside, that's a Lin band also?
It's Lin band, and it's just very thin.
The thin on the inside is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like design-wise, if you have that big flat plane and then the thin.
It's so comfortable, and it sits perfectly on the knuckle. So it's like kind of interesting. Like I purchased this ring earlier this year at her sample sale, and then I ended up buying a bag for an amazing price with this sort of similar clean... Yeah. So it's like kind of like how things like unconsciously work with like your jewelry and your handbags and your clothing. Like, you love pieces with hardware on your clothing, or like a clean piece so that it showcases your jewelry or your handbag or whatever.
You're like, you put it all together so well.
Thank you. Like I mean, likewise.
Would never have this is part of your creativity, I think.
I mean, I feel like, especially now, like I've said before, during this time, I think it's an opportune time to go through your closet and play around and say, oh, I've never put these two pieces together. I've never put these two pieces together. This white button down with the sequin. I'm being Victoria Beckham right now.
I really like it. I like that you're able to...
Oh, I could do it more. I'm just like, I'm scared I'm going to rip these pants.
Yeah. Sequins is not forgiving.
No.
It's not stretching.
No, luckily I got them like slightly baggy so I can like do some things, but...
ASOS is great for that.
Yeah, especially when you want just something like trendy, but like you don't want to spend a lot of money.
Whereas the white part, what you're wearing on the top, you'll have for years.
Exactly.
It's that kind of balance of pieces, and I feel like you're really good about knowing where to put your investment too, which is nice. It's cool.
I feel like it's just but at the end of the day, it comes down to pieces that make you happy. So if they excite you, even if they're like something that's like not even an investment piece, but it's just something fun and different, and it just makes you happy, it brings you joy. Like, I mean, jewelry brings me joy, handbags bring me joy. Those are my things that get me excited. Obviously, besides like friends and family and loved ones and all of that. But in terms of materials, it brings me joy because it's something different that you haven't seen before. So that's the exciting part, and finding new friends and all of that through those journeys.
We connect. Well, we have 1 minute remaining, and I want to say thank you, Michael, as usual.
Yes.
We're going to be back next week. We're discussing more pieces. We're probably going to be designing on the spot. I have some pearls we've been talking about, and so I would love everybody's input. And we'll be back next week.
Yes, Megan, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here every week. So I'm really appreciative of that, and just like having a good